What up, YouTube? Just here with another video. The reason I'm hitting you up and posting this up today is because I saw a video by Jesse Lee Peterson on his show, The Fallen State. I want to give a shout out to him. This is a woman that's talking about the pay gap, and she's a feminist clearly, and I really do think that she's a feminist. She doesn't clearly state that she's a feminist, but she has all of the bullet points of being a feminist. And as we all know, feminism is cancer. So before we get into this video, I'm gonna ask you, if you're not subscribed, to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, get all of my notifications as I post or go live, and hit me a like or a dislike, whichever one you feel. Tell me what you think in the comments. Share if you like, share if you don't like. But let's get into it.
What do you think about the war on men? Men are the most hated species on this side of heaven.
No, I think they're winning because the people running for president are still white men. So they're still winning that war.
In what way are they winning?
They're the only ones running to run our country. So they won. The men are still running to run our country. We have men.
So you're not winning a war just because men are running for president. All that means is that there's not more women that are running for president, or at least good women that are candidates that are running. Like Hillary Clinton ran and she was a trash. She was the worst politician. Like, no one likes Hillary Clinton. She is a horrible example of a woman. And just because she's the first woman does not mean that she deserves to have the right to be president. Like, the way that you're talking, Miss, about this whole situation is like we should just start pulling random women off the street and telling them that they're going to be president because there hasn't been a female president yet. Like, that's a horrible idea. Being president's off merit, not gender.
Well, I agree with you. I do thank God that President Trump is in the White House now, that he's running the country, putting the country first. He
Oh, well, I mean, are they men or are they women?
They're
men.
beta,
So they're
beta
men by
male.
definition. They're men by definition. So
I know, but
they're
they're beta
logical.
males. They're weak. They're afraid of women.
Oh, they're beta. Well, I don't know their houses. Maybe they're alpha at home. You know, maybe Joe's slapping around the missus to get dinner made. I don't know. But the men, we haven't had a female president, so I don't think
Thank
the war
God.
is winning. Women haven't won this war yet, so we're still not running the United States.
So I love that he brings up the fact that Joe Biden is a beta male, and she automatically goes to the idea that he beats his wife. Maybe he's an alpha in his home. Okay, so what type of men do you date or have you been married to that you just assume that men that are alpha just beat their wife? Like, explain that to me. Like, how is it that Joe Biden, because that's the example you're using, he's got money, he's got millions. His wife doesn't even probably cook dinner. They probably buy dinner or have a chef or something. Like, why is it when he says that that Joe Biden's a beta, which is 100% fact, you throw in there that he's probably smacking his wife around? Like, that's more of a reflection of you than even Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, he's also trash, just like Hillary.
Do you thank God that we have not had a woman to run our country? Can you imagine that?
Well, I don't think a woman could be worse than Nixon. I don't think a woman could have been worse than a lot of presidents I've seen.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's because of women in government that we have daycare centers, and women want to get paid to go home to have a baby, and women want, I mean, all this stuff that if they had a husband, they wouldn't we wouldn't have to be paying for it. You know what I mean?
No. No. There's a daycares cost $48,000 a year. Both
That's
parents
why
have
you
to
need
work.
that's why you need to stay home with your husband to have a baby.
That's, no, that's why women have to go out and work. If you have a baby, you have to pay $48,000 a year for that baby to go to daycare. So you have to work.
This woman is completely and utterly out of touch with reality. The median income in America is like $50,000 per household. Like, where are you going to find out where daycare's at? $48,000 a year for daycare. You are so out of touch. It is ridiculous. And I totally agree with Jesse. If you want to have kids, you should have a husband and you should be worried about your children. The government shouldn't be paying you, and people shouldn't be paying you for you having kids. If you think that you deserve to have children and get paid for it, then that's crazy. That's socialism. Like, us men already pay taxes and we already subsidize kids that aren't ours as it is, with feeding them and taking care of them. Why is it that why is it a company's responsibility to pay you for you deciding to have children? If you want to have children, then you should talk to your husband. You should plan for that. Like, you should have a husband if you're going to end up having children. That isn't society or corporations' problem to deal with you having a kid. Where the hell do you go to get $48,000 daycare? Like, do you get gold diapers on your kids when they go there? Like, what are you doing?
But
No, this isn't the 50s or the 40s. I mean,
but we need to
women
bring the
are-
50s and 40s back so that we can bring America back to its natural order.
Well, I mean, the Norwegian countries, they wrote the Dollhouse, and it was about women going into the workplace back in the late 1800s, and it was a great equalizer. And it's like the only place in the world right now, the Scandinavian countries, where women and men are paid equally, and they're pretty satisfied and they're pretty happy. So it doesn't seem like such a bad model to me. And they started back in the late 1800s.
Well, the women are paid equally here as well. Some are paid more than men because they're catering to the women.
No, still women don't get paid as much as men.
Can we please stop pushing this stupid lie? Men and women get paid the exact same amount of money for the exact same job. That study has been debunked multiple times. That study did not take into account women's choices, the hours women worked, or what type of jobs that they were in. It was a number of what men make and what women make. It did not take into account the average work week for a man, the average work hours for a woman. It did not take into account how many vacation days that were taken. It is not accurate. Once they plug those variables in, there's pretty much no difference. The fact of the matter is, it's a lie. In America, you are paid exactly the same. The only difference is you have the ability to negotiate your wage, and if you don't ask for a raise or you don't ask for more money, the company isn't going to give it to you. There is no systematic discrimination against women, because if that was the case, then companies would just hire all women, because you can discriminate against men. You cannot discriminate against women here in America. Now get over it.
Well, you said the Hispanic women don't. I don't know about that, but I know the blacks and the white women are getting paid equal as a man, but in some cases more than men.
It depends on the profession. Modeling is the only profession in which women get paid more than men. That's the only profession where women get paid more than men. Actually, Asian American women get paid more than African American or white women, and Latinas are the lowest paid. But if you're in the modeling industry, because it is objectifying women, you get paid more than men. So it does pay to be 6'5" and super thin and a model.
It pays off, huh?
Yeah, it does pay off to be a superior looking woman.
And guess what? Also, when you work in a restaurant, most of the time women get paid more than men, because usually men are in the kitchen and women are servers, and they make more money. If you go to restaurants, you're normally dealing with a server who gets an hourly pay and a tip, and the guys in the back that are cooking or doing dishes only make X amount of dollars. $9, $10, $12, $11, $13 an hour, and the servers only work 4 to 6 to 8 hour shifts, and usually they don't work an 8-hour shift, and normally they make $300 to $500 in a night, and they only work 3 to 4 nights a week. It depends on the restaurant and depends on how often the waitress wants to work, but they make more money. Also, another career that women make more money in, being strippers. There's far more female strippers. It's really hard to be a man and be a stripper, for one. Two, in the porn industry, women get paid way more money than men do. And it's a false premise that the reason that female models make so much more money is because they are being objectified. How are you being objectified if you decide to go and get paid to wear clothes or get paid to be scantily dressed? That's like saying that I'm a victim when I decide to grape myself. I can't grape myself. Like, that's not a thing. I can't take a large object and shove it up the other side of my butt and decide I'm now a victim of rape. It doesn't work that way. Like, why is it that you can't get off this victim mentality for women? Like, it's trash. It's trash, and it shows that you're miserable since you can't let it go at all.
Amazing.
Yeah, right.
Are you disappointed at the suicide rate for men today?
I'm disappointed at the suicide rate in general. To think that I think we have about 100 a day, maybe. It's sad. It's sad that in 2020 anyone would want to do that.
According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, in 2017, men died by suicide 3.5 times more than women. Nearly 70% of suicide deaths in 2017 were white males. The rate of suicide is highest in middle-aged white men, and also more likely to be homeless. The men are also, isn't that like a sad thing?
No, maybe it's the pressure that's put on them. Maybe it's the Hemingway mentality of the manliness. Maybe the expectations cannot be met. Maybe realistically, they need to talk with their women, not to them. Maybe it's the pressure you're putting on them, Jesse. I don't know. But
Yeah, so men are more likely to commit suicide. They're 75% of all suicides. They're also the most homeless, so like 90% of homeless. They're also like 90-some% to be hurt or killed on the job from an accident. They're also like 90-some% more likely to die in combat or at war than women are. When it comes to all of the stats that are negative in society, like suicide rates, dropping out of high school, criminal records, lower education, homelessness, that's all men. We like, if it was a race, we're super winning. Like, we're just running and we're burning women down in this race. And the fact of the matter is you can't say that it's sad that these men are dying and you're saying that it's because of the pressure that's being put on them or that we're putting on men. Or could it be the fact 50% of all marriages end in divorce, and 70% of them end with the woman starting the divorce, and 90% of all custody battles go to the woman? If you lost your house, your kids, your wife, or your job, those factors, if you called a suicide hotline, they would tell you to go seek a professional, because those are all one of the main pillars of suicide and depression. But you can't see that the venom that you speak about these men and the war that's going on in men, on top of them losing their families and losing their jobs, half their stuff, that couldn't be the reason why.
Kids, right?
yes, I have two.
And so, do your husband allow you to stay home if you wanted to?
Well, it's not allow. It's not a permission thing. It's not permission.
But let's say let's do this. Let's say your husband said, you know what, Kathy? You got to stay home and watch over these kids now. They need you here. I'm going to provide for the family. I'll take care of the family. Would you do it?
Yeah, but I've always been, I mean, I've had Catalina Magazine for 18 years, so I would never walk away from a magazine that helps a certain demographic. It's not just a magazine, it's my life, it's my passion. So I don't think you would walk away from your show if I asked you to do that. If you have a message to tell and it means something to you and you're passionate, I don't think anyone should ask anyone to give up their passion. So I don't think it has to do with gender roles. It's our passion. And like the Rolling Stones said, if you lose your dream, you'll lose your mind. So to ask another person to lose their dreams, I don't think you want to live with someone that has lost their mind.
Which is right for you as a wife and a mother, to stay home and raise the children, or to run Catalina magazine? Which would mean more to you?
I do both.
I know, but if you had to make a choice, your husband said you gotta stay home because it's the right thing. What would be more important to you if you had to choose one?
Well, no, I've set up my life that I've done both, but I would die for my children. I would do anything for my children.
Does that mean giving up Catalina magazine?
It means I would die. I would jump in front of a truck. I would jump in front of a bullet for my children. But if I could give them a better world with Catalina magazine, which promotes Latinas, so when they're older, they can have a choice of doing what they want to do, then why would I give up something that would enrich their lives? I would never want to take away their dreams and have them lose their minds.
But as their mother, would you give up Catalina magazine if you had to do it for them?
But why would I have to do it? Would he hurt me? Would he beat me? Would he kill the children? Would he kill me?
No, but I'm just asking you, if you had to give it up for your children, had to stay home and raise your children and be there for them, would you give up Catalina magazine and be a wife and a mother at home?
Well, I would do anything for my children, but if it was just to be a wife and a mother, I don't think that would make anyone happy.
Would you stay home? Would you stay home and be a mother to your children?
I'm able to.
And give up Catalina magazine.
I can do both.
No, so,
I'm sorry, Jesse. That's the way I plan my life. If I couldn't do both, I wouldn't have children. I wouldn't have them if I could not give them 1,000,000%. I want to be the perfect role model, and I'm with them for every step of the way, but I'm also able to create a dream that will enrich their lives so they don't have to suffer the way maybe my grandmother suffered by not knowing the language in a country.
Are you married? Are you married?
Am I?
Uh-huh.
I'm married? I was.
Oh, you was married. I thought I read or heard something like that, but you're not married now?
No.
You want me to help you find a husband?
No, I'm really good at that.
So, as you can see, Jesse's asking her if she would leave her career or her magazine for her to be able to spend time with her kids and raise her children. And you can see the disdain in her face when she's talking about that. And you can tell that she would rather have that magazine than be with her kids. She even uses her kids as a reason to keep that magazine alive with some idea about them and their dreams. She literally says, like Lennon says, if you lose your dream, you've lost your mind. You have your dream, lady, and you've completely and utterly lost your mind. You are delusional. If you really think that that magazine is more important than your kids, then that means you're a bad mom. And not only that, you won't even answer the question because you know you're full of shit. And at the end of the day, I would rather have my mom than my mom have a magazine. And I don't know about you, but I don't know who works at 1,000,000%. I've never seen 1,000,000% in anything. So unless you're freaking Superwoman, why aren't you running the country? Why aren't you got like 16 kids and 4 magazines and running YouTube? If you've got 1,000,000% in you, then like we need to take you to a lab and study you because that is insane. I've never seen 1,000,000% at anything. Unfortunately, all I have is 100%. Like I'm half the man that you are because you're just out working and able to do everything. Like, man, like I should have seen you before. I should start following you because you should be a life coach. How to get your life from 100% to 1,000,000%. And the fact that you're so bitter, You're very bitter. You can tell you're bitter because the way you looked when he asked you if you were married, and then when he asked you if you wanted him to help you find a husband, you said you were good at that. Lady, you're narcissistic. How are you good at finding a husband? Okay, let's say you are. You can't keep him. You're divorced. You are divorced, so you're not good at something. Like, why don't you just say you don't want to be married? Why don't you just say that you hate men? Why don't you just say that you're a mad, crazy feminist and feminist is cancer and you hate men? At the end of the day, you don't have a man. He left you, and you don't want to give up your magazine. That's probably why he left you. That's probably why you got divorced. But to be honest, to go with the statistics, you probably filed divorce on him and took half his stuff, and you have his kids now. But you know how that goes. But you can tell from your response about being married and about your kids that you yourself do not want to be around your kids as much as you should be, and you don't like men. And you've made that clear in your entire freaking interview about how you have a disdain for men. And it's sad because women like you are raising other kids that are going to go onto this world, and they're going to feel the same exact way that you do, and that's not helping society in any way. So I hope that your magazine actually does some good, because what you're teaching your kids is... All right, guys, that's the end of this video. So if you guys could just hit the like button, hit the thumbs down button. Like I said in the beginning, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell, tell me what you think. You guys can always email me at savageredrecovery@gmail.com. Share this if you think this was funny. Share this if you think it was bad. Show people like, hey, this dude's an idiot or this dude's hilarious. Either way, I appreciate everyone's support, and until next time.